Yeah, I'm going to try to do this again. I didn't like the way it turned out, so this will be my second attempt at talking about this again. I know most people probably ain't caring about this, but I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with this pulsation system. And the common thing that keeps coming up is a short somewhere. Well, I had the idea the other night that I turned off all the lights. If there's a short somewhere, I should see it spark somewhere or something. So I turned off all the lights and ran this, came out here, and I didn't see nothing. Don't see no sparking anywhere. And then the way I think of it is, even if there was a problem out here, it should only be affecting one pulsator and not all of them at the same time. Because the wires come out of the box here. These three right here are the ones that go out the pulsators. And they go out up through the ceiling here. And it comes across top of the milk house, down that plastic pipe it's zip tied to, and connects there. And then you got this triple wire that goes in the back of these pulsators. And on the back plate there's 3 pins, and you line that up, and when you clip that back in, the pins puncture into it to make connection. And like I say, that would be a common spot where you should see something, but I don't see no sparking down through there. And that's the other thing. If it was one of these was screwing up, like say that third one was the one messing up, theoretically these two should be fine, and it should be affecting all them down there. But there is another wire that runs all the way down the length of this, and connects up there, and that makes it a loop. So if there was something wrong, like say with this third one, the signal should be going down through this wire and coming back. So it should only affect one if it was only one thing in here, or if there was a break in the wire or anything. Well, like I say, what's going on affects all the pulsators the same. And I don't see no sparking in here. I didn't see nothing in the box in here. So, next thing I did, because we put this circuit board in back in August, and it got to the point that one light wouldn't even flicker at all on this. So I decided, to hell, I'm going to try the old board again. I put the old board back in, and both lights were blinking near normal. The one still has just a little bit of a flicker, but it seemed to work. Didn't seem to have a problem. So I've been running it this way for the last 2 or 3 days. And like I say, there's an intermittent problem yet, but it really hadn't affected anything milking. You come in here and it's affecting the front quarters, which would be that orange light there. And every once in a while you just see a little bit of a flicker. Instead of a nice flash, you just see a little bit of a flicker. Now this morning they got bad. Some cows didn't seem to be, sometimes they didn't seem to be milking. And I would stick my finger down the inflation, and there's times 4 to 6 pulses, it was just gripped and wasn't letting go. So, you know, I've checked all these connections, checked all the screws, wiggled things around if there's a broken wire or anything. So, next thing I did here, well, I won't know here for the next couple of days though, is the, now I forget now, the orange wire was your front pulsation, the yellow wire is your rear pulsation, and then they connect down here. So I thought, well, I'm going to flip them 2 wires. Then if I start having a problem in the rear quarters milking, well then I'm going to know either something is wrong in this board, or there is something wrong with the wire that goes out there. So that's where I'm at right now. Now the other thing I thought, like I say, it seems to work fine when you start. it seems like the longer you go is when you start having problems, like something getting warm, something like what happens on a vehicle if a coil's going bad. Once it warms up, you start having problems. So that makes me wonder about that transformer. Well, I don't feel no heat or anything on there. That's the only other thing I could think of in here, other than that board, that would be a problem. But I've been able to check as far as I can tell. You ain't gonna be able to read it up here. But number 8, to be this, the black wire here is supposed to be going out to the pulsators. It's supposed to be the front pulsation. And you should have 17 to 24 volts DC. And then the white wire be the rear. But like I say, right now I got them reversed on the board up here. And it says the same thing. You should have 17 to 24 volts. Well, I'm not sure just how I measure it, because each one of these is separate. The body is your ground. I would touch one terminal and then the body, and I'd get 11 volts. But if I touch across both of these, I was getting 22 volts. So as far as I can tell, that is putting out enough voltage. I'm not exactly sure. My knowledge of electric is pretty slim, so I'm not sure if that's right or not. I'm checking that. So that's what I'm going to do here right now. I switched some wires. I'm going to run it for a milking or two, see if that makes a difference. If I start having problems on the back quarters, and then I just realized here, I made these adapters so I could run off the one pulsation. Well, I just thought here this morning while I was monkeying around, if I'm continuing having problems, I'm going to put both these screws, or both these wires, onto the one terminal, and then that should pulse both sides at the same time and should eliminate that problem until I can figure out more what was going on. So that's where I'm at on that right now. I don't know what else to do with it, or what else to check. But I figure this way is going to help me narrow it down, whether it's in the board or in the wire, one way or another. And then today I was monkeying around. Another problem, it hasn't been a problem, but I have, I know it's not right. It hasn't been affecting anything that I know of. Been feeling I've had low vacuum. Now you're supposed to run right around 15 inches of mercury is about where these pumps should run. And I'm putting out that volume. The thing I have noticed is, I can hear, this is the vacuum controller here. This is what regulates the vacuum in the line. And, you can hear that thing hissing, releasing the vacuum. Well, I've noticed when I'm putting milkers on cows, when I'm trying to put the milker on the cows, I don't hear that hissing in here. Now that should be putting out more volume. That little bit of escaping air shouldn't have a problem. In fact, a whole milker should be able to fall off the cow, be sucking air, and you shouldn't see any notice in that vacuum gauge. Now the vacuum pump here is supposed to be putting out 75 cubic feet per minute. And that's sized for, like this system, for 6 milkers. I think they recommend 9 cubic foot per milker. So that'd be 54 cubic feet. And then you need so much per foot of pipe or something. I forget what the whole formula is. But it's something like 62 or 65 cubic feet. Maybe it's 68. Something like that is what this pipeline is recommended to have. And this is supposed to be putting out 75. And if that's the case, because I'm only running 3 milkers, because I only had these 3 adapters. So I just been leaving these milkers set and running 3. So I should only need at most maybe 35 cubic foot. Well, we've had problems before and found out the belts were slipping. So I come here, you're probably not going to be able to see in there. Went to check the belt, and yeah, the tension seems pretty tight right there. Well, then I start pulling on it, and that whole thing's moving. Now this thing, it's a 7-horse motor, and that puts out a lot of torque. And like I say, that's supposed to be a hinge point, and you tighten these bolts to tighten up. Well, if that's got play in it, I don't hear the belt slipping, but that's what I think is what's going on here right now. Is this belt is, I mean, like I say, I can get a whole lot of play in that then. But you probably don't notice that much because as heavy as that motor is, it's probably keeping enough tension on it. But I'm going to have a notice, but them bolts must have loosened up. Like I say, there's a lot of torque and a lot of shock to that when you kick this motor on. I mean, it's 7-horse motors putting out some power. So I'm gonna tighten them up and see how much of a difference that makes. So, as I say, just chasing some gremlins here. Hopefully, something makes a difference here. But it's gonna be what it's gonna be, I guess. So. But like I say, I'll just put another boring update about that on. I got some other shit to go do here now. See if I get stuck. I gotta go get a bale of hay, and it's been raining all day and it's awful damn greasy out there already. So we're gonna, well, like I say, I'll just show you, see if it does make a difference here. Do this real quick. Damn, 2 lights are blinking pretty even right now. That orange one's been the one with the problem. I don't know, there's no flicker in it right now. So I'm getting signal out there. And the other thing I've been chasing too, thought, well, if there's a problem with one of these coils in the pulsator, but, you know, I'd pull these off and leave only one hooked up and I'd still have the problem. I went through all 3 of these and I'd have one hooked up at a time and I'd still have the problem. So like I said, I can't believe all 3 are bad. Of course, maybe something came through and shorted them all out. I don't know. Maybe there is something happened to these coils. But, like I said, that's the other thing. Again, if one coil is bad, it shouldn't affect all of them at the same time. And if they were all bad, I don't think, and if it's an intermittent problem like it's been, it shouldn't be happening all at the same time. Because I put an extra pulsator I got on here where I could hear the hissing because I don't have the lines on. And I'd have my finger in the pulsator and I could hear them hit at the same time. So that's what makes me believe it's either something in the circuit board or something in the wiring, 2 out there. So that'll be the next thing. If this doesn't correct this problem, next thing I might do is just replace that wire. Who knows? I don't know what else to do. So, yeah, I got to wrap this up. It's getting dark out there and I got stuff to do. So, thanks for watching and we'll catch up with you later.